good first step in trying to figure out when to pick Carrie is to actually look for some drops from the tree. This one doesn't have any drops, but of course we see this perfect fruit just staring at us, so let's grab that while we're here. Go visit another tree. Another case of no drops under that tree. Here's a few. So this is a pretty good selection of fruit that we can learn from. So most of the fruit are pretty plump. This one is flatter here than the others. That one is fairly flat. This was the winner as far as plump as you can get. That, and there's a little bit of size difference too. This is a smaller fruit there, and then we kind of, right here next to it is a much larger fruit, and that one is. So anyway, what we can sort of determine from here is that it's fine to pick them with green skin, because they can even fall with green skin. But all of these have fairly smooth skin, and so that's what we will look for when picking the fruit. Basically, there's about 5 things to look for. Look for brown stems, but that doesn't always happen when a fruit is ready to pick. Smooth skin, that's one that has very smooth skin but not a brown stem. And of course, if it's colored up, like our first mango that we picked before we even picked up drops, that one had this wonderful color and nice smooth skin. Notice it has a green stem still. It's just starting to discolor near the tip, but this fruit was definitely ready to pick. Also, what can be a indicator are beads of sap, and with carries especially, it seems that sometimes you'll get a cluster of sap beads right on this part of the fruit. Of course, the sap beads can happen just about anywhere on the fruit, but it's very we come across several situations that have been pretty dramatic on that. So yes, also look for the plumpness of the fruit. Oh, here we go. Look at this. This is the little sap beads that I was just telling you about. A whole cluster just on that top part of the fruit. So we have a green stem, but smooth skin fruit and this sap bead cluster right there. So that one we're going to pick too. And of course, when you find a fruit that is completely yellow on both sides, that's an indication to pick. But a lot of times they will be yellow on one side and green on the other, so you have to be aware of that. Here's one with nice smooth skin, and this looks like very plump and ready to pick. Here's a green fruit with a brown stem, nice smooth skin, so we'll cut this one off too. It's plump, and that one's close to the same ripeness. This is maybe a day different from the one that we picked prior. So I collected a whole lot of drops. And the really ripe ones, those could have been cooking in the sun for the whole day, pretty much. So I'm just going to take those out because those are of limited use in our quest for the truth here on when to pick Carrie. As of course, anybody, if they saw a fruit on a Carrie tree with that level of color, would instantly pick it. It's but you know, usually they drop before they turn color. So those are the ripest of them over here in detention. So what can we learn from the green ones? Well, this one is very full, and it has some evidence of sap beads, and the skin up here toward the top, those markings indicate past sap beads. So if we come across something that's fat like this and has this stretched skin, that would be ready to pick. Here's one that's also green. Skin looks a little bit different, but still that stretched look. It's a little bit more spotted, I'd say, with the darker green spots in with it. But that would be a lovely time to pick also. So I think those are the two that we will use as our guide. This is a smaller one. It's narrow, it's not as wide. So it doesn't have to be huge like this one. What we're looking for is the type of skin, and also keep in mind the stems, the brown stems, and if they have colored up. So that's the stuff that had dropped. So conveniently, I have a box that I just picked. This one would have been an obvious pick for just about anyone, because it's coloring up and it has that nice stretched skin. This one might not have been an obvious choice because it's green, but it is plump and has that very smooth skin again. Oh, trying to find a place where you can see the colors a little better. But yeah, this one is more yellow on one side than it is on the other. And this is just scarring right there. That's a superficial thing. But the skin is a little bit different looking. It has the darker green spots in it, but still this is at a good level. And notice the stem is brown. This stem is mostly green, but you know, of course that fruit was ready to pick. Very typical color for when they're ready to pick. Here's one that doesn't have a brown stem again, but nice smooth skin. A little different shape, but that's ready also. So another example of those darker green spots in the fruit. That's fine. I mean, just look at how plump that fruit is. It's ready to be picked. This one is slightly younger, but that just means it'll be an extra day or two to ripen. There's a slight bumpiness to the fruit, but very slight. And there's right here, hopefully you can see that, there's a whole bunch of sap beads right in along that ridge. So that was a good bit also. So another instance of a brown stem, mostly brown stem, green fruit. A stem that's turning brown. And all that area up on the top here is former pores that sap beads have come out of. Sap has come out of. And one more example of a green fruit with a brown stem. It's plump and nice smooth skin. It's got a little different markings in it, but this is ready to go also. So the main thing to take away from this is that seldom do all the signs of being ready to pick occur in the same fruit. So you just need to keep them in mind and you know, see if it makes, you know, if the fruit meets at least a couple of the requirements. You know, it can have a green stem and be a ripe fruit. It can be a green fruit and have a brown stem. But, you know, the skin being smooth and stretched. The sap beads are another nice indication, and the color of the fruit. I hope this was helpful. Thanks. Bye-bye.